my name is Emily and I'm here from Phase for our It's Your Move workshop. Now some of you might have had us come into your school to do our On Your Marks and to do our Get Set workshop. Today is going to feel a little bit different, but hopefully you're still going to really enjoy everything that we've got in store for you. So throughout the video there'll be opportunities to pause and you can have some discussions with the adults that you're with either at school or at home. We'll also hear from some current Year 7s about their perspectives on secondary school, as well as lots of other activities. So hopefully you've got all the resources that you need for this session. If not, pause the video now and there's a link beneath the video that will tell you everything that you need. You'll also find a link at the bottom of this video with some extra resources that you can use after you finish this workshop. You might hear me mention a few of them as we go through. If you're ready and you've got everything that you need, then let's go. So we're in a new and a strange situation and there is so much change going on for all of us at the moment. You might be feeling lots of different things. You might be feeling sad about some of the things you're missing in Year 6. Maybe you're confused about exactly what's going on or how it's all going to work. Maybe you're feeling worried about going up to Year 7. And we want to talk about some of those things today and hopefully leave you feeling a bit more confident, a bit more prepared and a bit more excited about moving up to Year 7. If you were in either of our first two sessions, you might remember the 3 R's. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to see if you can remember them, and then I'm going to hand over to Hannah, who's going to tell us what the 3 R's are all about.
So the 3 R's that we looked at were responsibility, role model and resilience. So responsibility is all about taking ownership of the decisions that we make. We looked at how we can take responsibility for our time and how we manage it well. And for this we used a visual example of a vase, thinking about how we should manage those really important things first, such as eating and sleeping, and they were represented by the plastic balls. And then we added in the marbles, thinking about how we fit in things like our hobbies and those things we enjoy. And lastly, we poured in the water, thinking about those things that we can fit around, such as TV, thinking about how we need to get them in the right order so everything can fit in. Our second R was looking at role models, so thinking about those people who we look up to, who inspire us, and thinking about what are some of those characteristics that make a good role model, and how we too can be a role model to others. And lastly, our last R was resilience, thinking about how we can be resilient. And you might remember, if you had our previous workshop, that we gave you a yellow stretchy man. And resilience is about being able to face the challenges. It might stretch us, it might challenge us, we might feel uncomfortable, but it's about how we bounce back. But not just how we bounce back, but how we learn from the experiences that we've been through. So 3 R's, responsibility, role model and resilience.
Great, and today we are going to think about 3 new words: change, challenge, choice. So number 1, change. What I want you to do is to think about all the changes that you're facing right now or that you think you're going to face as you go on to secondary school. You can pause the video while you write them down and then you can press play when you're ready to move on. Okay, the next thing I want you to do is to think about what are some of the things that you're going to miss about primary school, or maybe you're already missing. I want you to pause the video and write some of those down for me and then play it again when you're ready to move on. Okay, so there are a lot of changes that you're going to face as you go from primary school up to secondary school. And some of those changes might feel like they're specific just for you, but a lot of them will be the same changes that everybody else is going through together. Some of them might feel like really big changes and some of them might feel really small. Some of them you might be excited about and some of them you might feel a bit worried about. And although change can feel scary and we often focus on the negative, there is a lot of positive to going through change. Think about, since you were a tiny baby, all the changes that you've been through to make you who you are today. Some of them might have been difficult or challenging, and like my stretchy man, made you feel stretched and uncomfortable. But getting through them has made you stronger and more resilient. all those changes have made you into who you are today. And so we know that you can get through these changes as well. Okay, what I want you to do now is we're going to pause the video and I want you to talk to the adult you're with. Tell them a story of a change that you've been through that maybe felt hard at the time, but you got through it. And maybe even the adult you're with will tell you a story of a change that they've been through. So pause the video and then play when you're ready to move on.
The biggest change was probably how big the school was and how many pupils were there.
I think the biggest change was the amount of people and having a set timetable for lessons.
The biggest change from going into year 6 to year 7 was the friends, because I knew I wouldn't be keeping the same friends. So I had to make new friends as I went along in this new school.
Also, remembering all of your equipment is not easy, so you have to make sure you are super organised.
The biggest change when starting secondary school was the amount of work that you get set. But once you've been there for a week maybe, you get the hang of it and learn how to organise your work, and I'd say best thing is to do it the day you get it.
The biggest change for me was definitely how big the school was, because my primary school wasn't as big and it didn't have as many people in it.
Something new about this year is that everybody is going through change. Older students in the school and even the teachers are going to be facing new situations, and nobody quite knows all the answers. But that's okay. What it means is that you're all in it together. Everybody's going to have to get used to it together and adapt together, and that you're not alone in all the changes that you're going through. Let's just remember to be kind to each other as we all adjust in our own time. Okay, the second thing that we're going to think about is challenges. Hopefully you've had the opportunity to download the sheet, or you can have a go at drawing your own one, just like the one that's coming up on the screen. I'm going to read some of the challenges that you might face when you get to secondary school. When I've read them all out, you can pause the video and you can write them in your table based on how scared or excited you are about each one. Remember to talk it through with the adult that you're with why you're placing each one where you do. So we've got better facilities, having more freedom, music, art and drama, homework, detention, bullies, making new friends, new teachers, harder work, canteen and snack machine, being the youngest year in school, going on school trips, missing old friends, getting lost, the journey to school, strict teachers, sport, a fresh start.
My main worries about starting secondary school were about being late for class and having no one to talk with or eat with at lunch. I soon realised that the teachers don't mind if you're a bit late if you get lost, and that everyone is in the same boat.
Before coming to secondary school, I was worried that I was going to get lost because it's a much bigger school, but I never did.
You're going to miss favourite teachers, you're going to miss friends that might go to different schools.
I was worried about getting lost, but you don't really get lost because there's so many signs everywhere and everyone's just fine if you ask somebody.
I think I was worried about not forgetting the homework or there being too much homework.
The thing that I worried about the most was if I get to class on time, or if I'd be a little bit late.
I was really worried about getting lost because it's a really big school, but then I realised that you don't actually have to know where every single classroom is. You only need to know where a few are, and that's the ones where you have lessons.
In Year 7, school has supported many people. There's something called pastoral where you can go to whenever you're sad or angry or just want someone to talk to.
They took us everywhere and made sure we knew where we were going. I had a few times where I got lost and I just asked a random teacher, where am I? How can I get to this class? And they were really supportive.
They know I came here by myself, so they gave me attention, support, help where I needed it. They made me fit in.
Every day you see your form tutor who is always there for you if you need any help or advice.
The school supported me really well because there have been peer mentors at the beginning of the year when I was first transitioning, and they're year 10s who show you around, show you to your classrooms for the first time.
In school we're supported, we have pastoral, we do Headstrong every morning, so we have like an activity for our mental well-being.
Every day we've been given lessons according to our normal planner. Sometimes our teachers or form tutors do video clips, explaining things or just for a happy message.
They've been setting work on something called Show My Homework, which has really been helping so that we don't fall behind. And when we do go back in year 8, if we do, which we probably will, they will support us if we need help, and they will try to keep us up with the latest work.
In lockdown, pastoral are still available and they send out a Headstrong PowerPoint each week.
There have been form times via video call every week, which has been really great because we get to do all the things we wouldn't get to do if we didn't have them. Like, we get to play games. Last time there was a game where we had to go and get loads of different random things from around our houses.
They've been amazing at giving really good feedback as soon as they possibly can, and our form tutors have kept in contact with us loads, and it's just been really good.
It's important to remember that everybody is excited and worried about the same kind of things. And often, even with the things that we're really worried about, there is always a positive to it. For example, if you're worried about strict teachers, it's important to remember that strict teachers are really just teachers that care about your education and want you to do the best. So what I want you to do now is to pick 2 or 3 of the things that you're most worried about. And I want you to see if you can write me a positive for each one. You can discuss it with the adult that you're with at school or at home. So pause the video and write those down, and then you can play when you're ready to move on. When we face challenges, it's important for us to be flexible in our thinking, to change our perspective, to find the positive, or to be resilient and to keep going and try it again. When we're out of our comfort zone, that is where we're able to grow and to discover how capable we are, to learn new skills. That is where the magic happens, and we know that you can do it. Okay, so we have looked at changes and challenges, and the last thing we want to think about is choices. Although secondary school might feel a bit scary, it's going to give you loads of opportunity to be more independent and to have a bit more freedom. And with that means you're going to have to make lots of choices or decisions. And so we're going to think back to our 3 R's that we talked about at the beginning: responsibility, role model, and resilience. So responsibility. What are all the things that you're going to have to get done? How can you use your time management skills to prioritise, to make sure that you're doing everything that's expected of you? Role model. How have you been a role model while you've been in year 6? And how can you take that as you go on to year 7? And who do you already know at secondary school who you can look up to and learn from and ask questions when you're struggling? And number 3 is resilience. I'm sure you've shown lots of resilience over the last few months. What have you learned that you can take with you as you face those challenges and those changes that we've talked about in secondary school? You might have heard a great quote from Spider-Man: "With great power comes great responsibility." And as we grow up and we get more freedom, we also have the responsibility to make decisions that are going to have a positive impact on ourselves, on the people around us, and on our communities. So we're going to do an activity now to think a little bit more about choices. There's going to be some different dilemmas coming up on the screen, and they're also in the booklet if you've got one. And you can pause each one and talk with your adult about what you might do in that situation. Great, so hopefully you found that helpful to think through some of those situations that you might face when you get to year 7. In our extra resources pack, we've included a whole load more scenarios that you can discuss with your adults at home. The most important thing to remember is to communicate. If you're not sure, speak to adults at home, speak to people at school. Go to your form tutor or to your head of year to ask for help. Everybody is there to help you and to support you and wants to make sure that you're getting the most out of Year 7. So don't be afraid to ask questions.
Just to be yourself. Don't be shy. Just don't be out and going. Just be yourself. Go up to people, try start a conversations, ask how their day's been, ask what primary school they went to, you know, like something that would make a conversation to start up with a friend.
Don't worry about it too much, and always remember that there are always people who you can ask if you need help. Everybody is there to help you.
It's never to be afraid to ask for help.
That you always need to have your timetable on you at all times, because you don't want to be walking around school and thinking, I don't know what lesson I have next and I don't have my timetable, so I can't find out.
Don't be too scared because it gets fine. Like, it's probably a big change, but you will get used to it. Keep all of your books in your locker unless you need to bring them home for homework, otherwise it's going to be very heavy. Also, remember to pack everything you need the night before so you don't forget anything in a big rush in the morning.
To just enjoy it, because it's actually so much fun.
The best thing about secondary school is how many different subjects and clubs there are. You can't really say, oh no, there's nothing that I'm good at or that I enjoy here, because there's just so many different things.
I think the best thing about starting secondary school is that there are many more people and you can make many more friends.
My old school was a vegan school, so being able to eat meat in the school was good, like chicken. So that was probably my biggest, the best thing for secondary school for me.
The people, because they're all like so helpful, and your friends, you all like stick together and like help each other, and the teachers are always there for you if you need them.
I think the best thing for me is all the lessons and having people I know there, or having people I can ask, and having really good friends.
The canteen, it's so good, it's such good food. The size helps you make friends relatively quickly. There are loads and loads of clubs to join, and you get to try out new subjects. Good luck!
Now I want you to think back to the very beginning of the workshop, when you told a story about a change that you'd been through. We're going to set you a challenge. We want each of you to design us a poster with your top 3 tips of managing change or managing a new situation. Tips that you would give yourself and that we can share with other Year 6 students who are nervous about going up to secondary school. When you've done your poster, you can take a picture and send it to the email address at the bottom of the screen. We can't wait to see them. As we get near to the end of the workshop, I'm sure you've got lots of questions. I've tried to have a guess at what some of those questions might be, and here is the team to answer a few of them.
First thing to remember is that I think you'll find it happens quite gradually. So on the first day of school, you will not be going home with 10 pieces of homework all due in for the next day. The teachers know you're new to it, they'll get you started off nice and steady. Second thing is, if school don't give you a homework diary, get yourself one. Put all the deadlines in it, write down the details of the work you need to do, and that's going to really help you plan your time.
Obviously to behave in the lessons, but if you're having problems or you don't understand something, is to talk to the teachers. They might seem strict, but actually they will care about how you are and if you've got any problems or issues.
Well, if you are getting bullied, the most important thing you can do is not keep it to yourself. Make sure you speak to someone and you reach out, whether that's someone at home, a teacher, your form tutor, or the pastoral team. And if you're going to a Hitchin secondary school, then look out for FAYS, because we continue to offer support in the local secondary schools.
My top tip for Year 7 is don't be afraid to ask if you get lost or don't understand what is being asked of you. All the best for year 7. Bye.
Remember, everyone else in year 7 is new to the school too. Even if they know people and seem to know where they're going, they're probably as nervous as you.
My top tip for going to secondary school is to pack your bag the night before. No dramas in the morning, no looking for your PE kit. You arrive at school calm, ready to take on what's ahead of you for that day. Good luck.
My top tip is that you don't have to make all your friends in the first week. It may take a while before you find people who you want to be friends with, and that's okay. This is a marathon and not a sprint. Pace yourself.
Make sure you're watching all the videos that your new school are releasing. Know when your virtual transition day is, because they're sure to give you lots of helpful information and answer any questions you may have.
My top tip for you would be try and stay as organised as you can. Perhaps that's about making sure you do your homework as soon as it's set rather than at the last minute. And maybe it's about getting your bag ready for school the night before rather than in the morning so that there's less rush.
My top tip for secondary school would be take opportunities. Whether that be clubs that you can join, activities you can try after school, even new people in your class to make new friends. Take those opportunities and make the most of this new experience to get the best you can out of moving to secondary school.
If you've still got questions that we haven't answered, we would love to hear them. Maybe there's things that you've heard people talking about and you're not quite sure if it's true. Send us all your questions and we will do our very best to answer them for you. And remember that you can also discuss all the things that we've talked about today with the adults at home. That is all from us, and I hope you've really enjoyed this workshop. And remember that if you go to any of the Hitchin secondary schools, we will hopefully see you there in the not too distant future. We cannot wait to be back in school and to be able to say hello to all of you. And so hopefully we will see you soon.
Good luck, Year 6.
Good luck, Year 6.
Good luck, Year 6.
We think you're going to do amazing at secondary school.
We think you're going to do amazing at secondary school.
We think you're going to do absolutely amazing at secondary school.
See you soon.
See you soon.
See you soon.
See you soon.
Bye.